أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Mu'minina mu'minat, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this a blessed evening for all of us and allow us to seek forgiveness for ourselves and for our marhumin, for those who passed away from our gatherings, and especially on this night, as it is the night of forgiveness, we ask Him to forgive us, inshaAllah. The discussion that we started last week is on Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq, a supplication from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam on the topic of purification and asking God to attain the highest levels of ethics and morality. He calls that makarim. Makarim are the honorable and the highest levels of ethics, al-akhlaq. Some of you may recall or remember from our last week's discussion in the introduction to this dua and to this concept or topic that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, I was only sent to complete the honorable levels of ethics. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ. That is my purpose. The purpose God sent me is to make people reach the highest levels of morality. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ. That is إِنَّمَا لِلْحَصْرِ, meaning this and nothing else. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes His messenger in the Holy Quran as having achieved and attained the highest level of morality. وَإِنَّكَ in Surah Al-Qalam وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Surely you possess a great level of morality. خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. When God is confirming that for His messenger and him and nobody else, it tells us that surely he has reached the highest level of morality. This is why we say Muhammadun khayrul bashar. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He is the best upon or amongst mankind, and therefore we need to follow him and follow his school and the school of all the Anbiya. As one of our great scholars says, if you put all the prophets together around a table, none of them would have any disagreements amongst each other. They would all be agreeing with one another. It's only people who lack knowledge or have agendas that disagree and fight and basically have disputes. If you have the knowledge is certainty, or the highest levels of knowledge is certainty. Certainty is from God. There is no doubt. When you're connected to the knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no doubt. This is why I say to people, whatever we learn from the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, if we confirm that it's from them, then it's the certain knowledge. Everything else is subject to experiments, trials and errors, and subject to change and correction, when the knowledge that comes from God and His messengers and from the successors of His messengers is what is confirmed, what is certain. There's no doubt about it, because as Imam Ali alayhi salam, he describes God not needing to test and experiment من غير أن تمارس فيما ابتدأت به لغوبا ولا علاجا in dua al-sabah, that what you created and how you created this world, you needed no experimenting and changing and improving or corrections. Ilaj is where you try and correct something that has gone wrong. In the whatever is from God is certain, is clear, is correct. Whatever is from His Messenger also, His Messenger is the best and the best role model. Ahlul Bayt, the successors of His Messenger, especially the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, are definitely the best teachers. And therefore, when we want to, if a question is how do I achieve the highest level, read from their words and put that into practice. Read their words and put whatever you learn into practice, and inshallah we achieve the highest levels. In this dua, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, he starts with asking God a dua that is answered. And I mentioned that Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad is a prayer, is a supplication. It is requesting something from God, but it's one thing that we know for sure, it's been already answered. It is already confirmed when He says, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is confirmed. So the Imam starts every section in his dua after Bismillah, obviously the beginning of the dua. Every section is starting with Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and then he starts asking God the first thing, besides asking Him to bless the Prophet and his family, which is again a confirmed dua. He says, وَبَلِّغْ بِإِيمَانِ أَكْمَلَ الْإِيمَانِ. The most important thing in terms of our akhlaq, it is dua about akhlaq. So the most important level in terms of achieving akhlaq is this level, to reach with our faith the highest levels of faith. Now you might say akhlaq, I understand ethics and morality has to do with how we are with one another, with people, with other humans. That is one level of akhlaq. There is akhlaq, in fact, is how you are as a human being in general. With other people, that is akhlaq. With yourself, that is akhlaq. With nature and God's creatures, that is akhlaq. With God Himself, above all, that is also akhlaq. All of these relationships and interactions are encompassed in the topic or in the concept of akhlaq. Islamic ethics include all of those. And the most important part of it is how we are with our Creator, with God. And so he says, وَبَلِّغْ بِإِيمَانِ أَكْمَلَ الْإِيمَانِ وَاجْعَلْ يَقِينِي أفضل اليقين. Make my certainty. So when iman increases, see, this is dua makarim al-akhlaq. It's to get higher and higher. When faith increases, it reaches certainty. When certainty increases, it reaches the best of certainty. He says, وَاجْعَلْ يَقِينِي أفضل اليقين. Not just yaqeen, أفضل اليقين. So there are levels in yaqeen, within yaqeen. In Quran, we have different levels of yaqeen mentioned, and our scholars, they classify them. They say there is a level of yaqeen which is almost like seeing something. Let's say you see, or before that you hear about something, that's not certainty. Okay, when you hear about something. When you see it, that is some level of certainty. Why? Because you could be delusional, you could be mistaken. So for instance, if you see smoke, you would assume that there's fire. What if that's steam, for example? Or what if it's some effects made by some substances, which they do these days. So that is one, you've seen the smoke. What if you see the fire itself? That is another level, yeah? This is so far aynul yaqeen, okay? then you reach a level of what Quran refers to as haqqul yaqeen, the true certainty. An example of that is, God forbid, if you're in the fire itself. And somebody's telling you, no, what you're seeing is wrong, it's not fire. But I can feel the fire. It's no longer an assumption or based on some, could be a mistaken vision of something. No, I can feel it. That is haqqul yaqeen. The true level of faith of believers that reach the highest level of certainty is like it's like someone in the fire being certain about the fire and its burning effects. Or somebody, yes?
Or somebody asking you, there is a kid in the fire. You get in to get the kid and you feel the fire when you're there.
Ahsan. So there's no more doubt. You are in it. Whether it be fire or whether it be somebody says to you, this is water. Okay? Is it water? Is it really water? It could be some other liquid. It could be whatever it may be. When you're drinking the water and it's quenching your thirst, you know for sure that this is water. Okay? It is water that's good. So haqqul yaqeen in that sense is where there is no doubt anymore. You feel it, you live it. One is certain about God, okay, which is beautiful. Obviously, when it comes to the Creator, there is no vision. We cannot see God. We see the effects. We see al-athar, okay? We see all the effects. So doubts are removed. But we cannot see God Himself. Although somebody asked Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, do you see God? The Imam says, would I worship a God that I do not see? But then he clarified that it is not my eyes that see God. They cannot see God. Our eyes are limited. They cannot see the unlimited. However he referred to as seeing, he says our hearts see Him. This is the certainty. The heart sees God. It's not just feels God, sees God. We're not speaking of the physical heart, the muscle in the chest. Rather, the entire existence of a human being seeing God, that is certainty. Seeing Him in the sense that it is not anymore a matter of, oh, maybe God created, or okay, I know God created, but is He fully in control? Is everything controlled by Him? Unfortunately, there were people who believed in God as the creator, but when it came to sustainability, when it came to protection, when it came to rain, when it came to different things, they thought other forces are in charge. Okay, this is what we call shirk. This is literally shirk. They thought some stones or idols represented some forces in nature that were in charge of certain aspects of the universe. And we say, no, only God is in charge. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. When you reach a level that you see that, the heart sees it, feels it, lives it, that is the highest level or haqqul yaqeen of certainty, which the Imam is asking God for, and we should be teaching us to ask for afdal al-yaqeen. And then he says, وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ النِّيَّاتِ. Whenever we do anything in life, there is an intention behind it. And the hadith tells us that إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Everything is judged by, God judges everything that we do based on the intention. Okay, not the action itself. Meaning what? Somebody could be praying, moving the movements of prayers. but his intention is physical exercise. Is he going to be recorded as someone who's praying? What if somebody's intention is to impress somebody else, some other humans, which unfortunately happens often. People supposedly are praying or fasting or doing some charitable acts or whatever it may be, but all they have in mind is to impress some people. That is not something that God is going to accept from them as a sacrifice for God or giving for the sake of God. He only accepts what is intended for him. He knows what's in the hearts. You can fool others. Perhaps you can fool some people, some humans. But nobody can deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, deceive God and suggest that this is for him when it's not for him. Therefore, وَانْتَهِ بِنِيَّتِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ النِّيَّاتِ. Make my intention the best of intentions. Intentions also have levels. Some people may be praying for the sake of God, but it gets mixed sometimes. فَخَالَطَنِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ in the dua. We seek refuge to him that we start something for him and then it gets mixed with something that's not for him. Somebody has a good intention, wants to do something good. When he starts doing it, he or she, God forbid, shaitan comes, people come, perhaps some people may boost his ego or her ego. Some people may challenge them, the individual, and make them, try and belittle them, and as a result they want to now show off and show people that no, I'm not what they're suggesting. Anything that could happen that changes the intention or gets it somehow mixed, not pure for the sake of God. Therefore, the Imam is teaching us to ask God to make sure that our intentions, we ask Him because He can help us get there, that we make sure our intentions are the best of intentions, the purest of intentions. وَبِعَمَلِي إِلَىٰ أَحْسَنِ الْأَعْمَالِ. Therefore, our actions would become the best of actions. Without the best intentions, the action will not become the best actions. It may appear that it is, may appear to people that it is the best action, but in actual fact it is not, unless the intention is the best of intentions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the highest level of faith, grant us the highest level of certainty, grant us the best of intentions and the best of actions. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.